Hello friends, we are here to help you get better at golf. I'm Bill Hobson. This is Kyle Martin, the PGA professional from the Fortress Golf Course in Frankenmuth, Michigan, and we're addressing questions that you all sent to me. This one comes from Don, Jim, and Steve, and it has to do with being much better at calibrating the speed of our putts on greens as we play different courses, and we want to eliminate three putts. We do these lessons in 5 minutes or less, so we'll start the timer. Kyle, fix our putting, please.
Yeah, so Don, Jim, and Steve are not alone.
No, they are not.
A lot of people are awful at putting. When I was younger in my career, I was in the same boat. And one of the first things that really improved my putting statistics is, sounds funny, but hitting the center of the face. The putter isn't swinging very fast. But when we're trying to make a 30-footer or a 40-footer or even longer than that, we are swinging the putter quite a distance. And so when we start to lose where we hit it on the putter face, the ball doesn't go nearly as far. Well, if you hit a 25-footer and you take a big swing and you hit it a half an inch on the toe, and then you get to the next green, you're going to take a bigger swing. Or all of a sudden, the stars align and you hit the center of the face, and all of a sudden the ball goes 12 feet by. So hitting the center of the face is really one of the main priorities when it comes to distance control with putting.
And a much bigger issue than most golfers realize. I was in a putting lab once with a 5,000 frame per second camera, and it made it look like I could never hit a putt in the rest of my life because I was never in the center, even though I felt like it really was. And maybe we sometimes adjust ourselves to the incorrect position. Whatever the case may be, we've got to start with the center of the club face, whether it's the driver or the putter.
Yeah, so there's a really simple drill you can do where all you need is 3 golf balls. You want to set them up where obviously you find the center ball, and then you set one ball just outside of the toe and one just inside the heel. If you go to a PGA Tour, LPGA Tour event on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, the first thing these players do is they go to the putting green, or it might be the last thing they do, but one of the main drills they do is they'll stick tees in the ground or they'll use golf balls, either way, and they're working on center face contact because as fast as those greens are on the professional tours, they've got to be really precise on where they hit it on the face. So you want to set up, all you need to do is focus on how are we going to swing the putter where we miss both golf balls. And if we can do that with proper pace, we often have good results. But it's striking the ball in the center of the face that really hones in on how fast the ball's going relative to your club head speed. It's the same as hitting a 7-iron. You want to hit in the center of the face so that the ball can go a predictable distance. Same holds true with putting.
Okay, so center of the face is step number 1. And by the way, this was not a fancy and expensive contraption that Kyle just introduced.
No.
I don't have a promo code for you for a 3 golf ball drill.
Yeah.
You can do this on your own, and you don't have to wait until you get to the golf course to really practice this, because that gate drill, it works in the office, it works in the living room, it works wherever, even if you've got the kind of flooring that doesn't allow for putting. I think just having it set up that way reinforces, right. You can set up over it and just kind of get used to the back and through of it all.
Right. It's not shiny, it's not expensive, it's cheap to practice, but not enough people do it where they can deliver center face contact. That's why they struggle on the green so much.
Okay, so center of the club face is point number 1. Now let's get the speed calibrated.
Yeah, so getting the speed calibrated often comes down to your initial philosophy on how you're hitting your putts. Meaning, let's say for the majority of golfers, this is on the professional tours and amateurs alike, your first putt is usually around over 15 feet. We'll call it 20 to 30 feet. And so sometimes worse depending on how your day is going. So when you look at your first putt, I hear a lot of people say, never leave a putt short. And that causes them to have reckless abandon with how fast they're hitting the golf ball and how hard it's racing by.
Mm-hmm.
If we're looking at some of the math, a putting cup on a golf course is 4¼ inches wide. That's not very big. It looks even smaller, right?
Especially if you're struggling, yes.
Yeah. So if you treat your first putt like a closest to the pin contest, meaning you're trying to get it to just drip by the cup, we can use, the ball will fall in side door way more often than if you have the mindset of never leave a putt short and it goes racing by. We've all had those days where it's 4 greens in a row where the putts have flipped out. It's typically, it may be a center face contact issue, but it's most likely a speed issue. So we call it dripping speed by the cup. So it's okay to leave putts short on your first putt. If they're 15 to 25, 35 feet, you're trying to get it within 10 to 15% of that putt distance, which means if you're putting from 20 feet, if you can get it inside of a 2-foot circle or a 4-foot circle, we're in business.
Now, I've heard for years the calibration estimate is roughly 1 inch for every foot of your putt. That's how far you want to move your putter. And I've never really bought into that because there's so many variables, including your acceleration pace. The speed of the green would have something to do with that. I've played some greens where it feels more like 1 millimeter, and I've played some greens where it feels like maybe I should go back 1 foot for every foot. What should we be learning pre-round on the practice green? Assuming, of course, that at this, whatever course we're visiting, it's a good representation of what's on the course.
Yeah, a really good idea would be putt to the fringe. So putting to the fringe eliminates the evaluation of are we making the putt or not. You're just trying to get a gauge. Like our greens are typically fairly fast here. So people that aren't normally playing here, aren't used to playing greens this fast, they get here and they ram everything by. And so I always tell people, if you can just putt from 10 feet, try and putt it to the fringe line, go to 20 feet, putt to the fringe line, you'll get a good gauge of how fast those greens are for the day without the evaluation of are we making this putt or lipped out, or we get too focused on the hole and we need to focus more on that speed. And speed a lot of times is more important, is maybe the most important thing in putting.
Okay, I want you to come over here for a second. I want you to look right into this camera and I want you to talk to the parking lot pro. You know, this is the player who is really excited to finally get away from work and away from life and just play a round of golf, but they don't roll into the course until about 4.5 minutes before their buddies are all ready to go. So they don't get to hit a putt at all. And then they're shocked, stunned, and ticked off that they 3-putted 14 times during the day.
Yeah.
The parking lot pro, Kyle, please speak wisdom.
You've got to get some rehearsals at home. You've got to get some rehearsals maybe in the office. But more importantly, you've got to have a philosophy of if I leave it short from 20 feet, that's more than acceptable.
As long as it's not 12 feet short.
Correct. Yeah, you want to get it generally within about 10% of that putting length. So quick stat for you that proves that this is correct. When the U.S. Open was at Oakmont, the top 10 putters in the U.S. Open, when those greens were lightning, left 40% of their first putts short.
Wow.
That's the top 10
number.
putters for the U.S. Open, which is the ultimate test. Left 40% of their first putts short. That tells you it's okay. You'd rather tap in 2 inches short than have to putt from 3 feet by because you had the mindset or the philosophy never leave a putt short.
Okay, we don't want you to 3-putt any more than you want to 3-putt. Thank you to the guys for the questions about calibration. You got some good wisdom here from Kyle. And now the key is to go practice all of this. And by the way, don't wait for great weather to do it. You can practice the alignment and the club face kind of precision wherever you are. If you have a couple of golf balls or one golf ball and a couple of quarters or some combination thereof, set up the gate drill. We would love to hear from you with any other questions you have about the game. Just put them in the comments below. And on a future episode of Get Better at Golf, we will tackle those questions for you as well. Thanks for joining us.